Andrea, today we're here at the Balzan FC Academy. How important is this session today with kids of such a young age?
As usual, you know, the AC Milan methodology, and I grew up with AC Milan. It's really important to play your young age, because if they learn the technique so young, you know, they can improve totally in the future. And that's why, you know, we create a lot of players that they can play in Serie A, Serie B, or Serie C, because if you start really young, you can learn many different skills. And in fact, you know, usually the AC Milan players is always, you know, really technical, and is playing a good football. So that is the aim that we are going to give to the players.
You're an idol for many people who remember you as a player. What would be the highlight of your career?
But obviously for me, I born in Milano, so I wanted to play for AC Milan, and when I started to play my first game with AC Milan in San Siro on the Stadio Meazza, it was a derby game. So I touch, you know, I managed, you know, to get my dream out of it, because to play Inter Milan inside, you know, the stadium, 80,000 people with my shirts, with the AC Milan shirts, that it was amazing. You know, that was my best day of my life.
When you retired, AC Milan decided to trust you with an academy in Australia. How difficult was this from a football player to a coach?
When you change the job from football players to the coach, situation is completely different. You want to be a player, still player, you know, but you know, your brain, you know, you wants to do that, but your legs, your heart, you know, it can't do much. And so the passion has to remain always really high standard. And the difficulty is to transmit you know, your experience to the players. They have to understand what is involved, you know, to become a football player, because it's not so easy. You know, everyone is dreaming, you know, to be a football player, but it's really difficult. You know, and what is important is to transmit the principle, the value of the life, the value of the sport. And that is the most difficult part, because many of them, you can find good players, but the worst part is to make them a real player, because with the mind they want to do it, but then, you know, you need a lot of commitment, you need a lot of sacrifice, and when you are young you don't realize that you are making such a sacrifice, but you have to keep going hard and keep going practice, to study. So there are many conditions involved.
How would you describe your experience in Australia?
In Australia it's completely different, because the first thing that I heard and that I learned was every player, he makes a lot of sports. So first of all, what you have to do is to inspire the players to follow only one sport, because if you practice a lot, you know, you can improve. But if you change every day a different sport, like cricket, AFL, rugby, surfing, swimming, and then you play soccer, they call soccer, still, you know, the name of the football sport. That is something that we had to change, you know. And I learned, you know, to make them more focused in the sport that you like, that you love. If you really want to do it, you have to push yourself in that direction.
Your first impression of Balzan FC?
Balzan is getting better and better and better. You know, I learned Balzan since 2010, and since then it improved unbelievably. There is behind the scene, there are a lot of players, a lot of people that is working unbelievably, and with a passion, with the heart, and they want to take, you know, Balzan in a better position in the future in the championship, and maybe, who knows, in Europe. So that is the aim, the target that they are involved with Balzan. It's really demanding, they're looking forward to do an important club in the future.
Finally, AC Milan is one of the most supported clubs here in Malta. What's your message to the Milan supporters?
Well, to keep it going like usually, because even when they were in Serie B, they were supporting AC Milan unbelievably. There were 50,000 people in the stadium. So I think that they already have a difficult time, and now we are getting better slowly. Obviously we don't win like before, but we have to believe in our project with Inzaghi, with Berlusconi, all the family, because the AC Milan supporters, they are the soul of the team, and they've always been really in contact with them, really close to them, and in my opinion, in short time they can get the result that they research for.